What is self-discipline? It's the ability to convince yourself to do the things that you don't want to do in the moment, but you know you should do them for the long-term payoff, or not do the things that you want to do, but you know you shouldn't because there's a long-term consequence. And sometimes we think that self-discipline is a genetic trait, like either you're born with it or you aren't. Some people are self-disciplined and some aren't, but that's not true. Self-discipline is tied to your self-worth and your self-love and your integrity. So people for whom self-discipline comes easily, they're able to do things they don't want to do, or not do the things that they want to do, but they shouldn't, because they have strong self-worth and self-love and integrity and self-confidence and faith and belief in their future self's ability to achieve their goals. Because what you're doing is you're doing something for your future self out of love and respect for her. The way I see it, your relationship with yourself is made up with three things, three components: your relationship with your past self, your present self, and your future self. And how much self-discipline you have is directly linked to how much love and respect you have for your future self. So how much are you willing to go through in the present? How many setbacks and obstacles are you willing to overcome? How much discomfort are you willing to endure in honor of your future self? Self-discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. And it's a decision you make to follow through with your plan or your strategy that's going to propel you towards your goals. But so many people just think, I wish I could be more disciplined, or I struggle to meet my weight loss goal because I'm not a disciplined person. And that's just coming from a victim mentality where it isn't your responsibility to do anything about it, and is disempowering. But that's not even the worst part. Here's the most damaging part of doing that. You're taking on the identity of someone without self-discipline. You're telling yourself that's who you are. And what that signals to your subconscious is, this is how I behave. Do more of this because this is who I am. And they say the strongest force in human nature is the desire to act in accordance with your own self-identity, to act like the type of person that we believe we are. It comes down to the choice between self-respect and regret. What would your future self tell you to do right now? If they're reaping the rewards or dealing with the consequences of your actions now in the present, which they are. And remember, everything has multiple orders of consequence, and the present consequences are always the opposite of the future consequences. So ice cream, for example, the present consequence of eating ice cream is pleasure. But the future consequence is, weight gain, high blood pressure, diabetes, knee replacements, right? All that stuff. Think about cold showers. You know how cold showers are all the rage right now, or cold plunges? It's because the immediate consequence is discomfort or pain, but the future consequences are all positive. Like it stimulates your metabolism, it burns fat, it improves your mood, increases your energy, stimulates your immune system. Like you name a positive consequence, and it has been tied to cold showers. Also, I think one of the indirect, like lesser known benefits is that it gets you in the habit of ignoring your lizard brain, who only wants pleasure and comfort. And it gets you in the habit of doing things on behalf of your future self. And it gets you in the habit of acting from a place of self-discipline rather than immediate gratification. And that is a super important habit to develop. And once you do it enough, it becomes part of your identity, and you become someone who does the hard, unpleasant things. Or more accurately, you become someone who does the things that are hard and unpleasant in the short term, but beneficial in the long term. So you become someone who is self-disciplined. And the ripple effects are huge. Same thing with becoming someone who says no to cake at parties, or becoming someone who always orders water at a restaurant instead of a drink, or someone who goes for a walk every day, no matter what. You choose the specifics. It doesn't have to be cold showers. Whatever it is, if you do it enough, you will start to see yourself as someone who typically does that thing, and you'll provide evidence to yourself that you are the type of person who does that, and it snowballs from there. And that's how you make habits automatic and effortless, because it doesn't take effort to just act like the type of person that you are. It doesn't take willpower. It's easy. It's like if someone offers you heroin, you're going to say, I'm pretty sure, no, thanks, I don't do heroin. And it's not going to take willpower or motivation or anything like that. It's just something that you just don't do. It's not who you are. And you can get to the same place with chips or McDonald's or wine or whatever you want. It takes time, and it takes you working on your self-worth and your self-confidence and your integrity, and just developing the habit of self-discipline. Before I go a bit deeper into that, I'd love it if you could please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. And if you know anyone who you think would like these videos, please share it with them. It really does help me out. I'm on a mission to help 10,000 women learn how to shed the weight permanently and live the rest of their lives in their dream bodies. And if you want to know more about how I help women do that, how I help them shift their identity and develop their self-discipline in a way that is automatic and effortless, this is what my Make This Your Year weight loss program is all about. So check out makethisyouryear.com for more details. And of course, if you want to discuss, feel free to schedule a weight loss call with me, and I'll hop on the phone with you or on a Zoom call, and we'll just talk more. No pressure, just see if it's something you want to learn more about. Okay, on the subject of integrity, if you tell yourself you're going to do something, let's say you tell yourself you're going to not drink for a month, dry January or whatever, but then you don't follow through. You go back on your word to yourself. It chips away at your integrity and your relationship with yourself, because you're letting yourself down. And we are all so quick to do this, aren't we? If you add another person to the mix, it's different. Like if you made a date with your best friend to meet her at a restaurant at noon on Saturday, like you're going to go, aren't you? You wouldn't just not go, because who would be so rude and thoughtless to someone else? But let's say you did bail on her. You probably wouldn't, but like, let's say you did. And she was like, hey, where were you on Saturday? And you said, oh, I just didn't feel like it anymore. That would chip away at your relationship with her, right? But the fact that you wouldn't do that to her proves that you're way more willing to let yourself down than you are to let someone else down, doesn't it? Or think about it at work. If you tell your boss you're going to show up at a meeting or get him a report or whatever, you do it because he expects you to, and you said you would, and you don't want to let him down. But we're so quick to let ourselves down and break our commitment to ourselves. So ask yourself, if you have the identity of someone who rarely lets others down, but lets themselves down all the time, whatever identity you have perpetuates your actions so that you're living in congruence with who you believe yourself to be, for good or for bad. Often we think of self-discipline as like restrictive or boring or something negative, but truly it's freedom, and it's love, and it's respect, and it's integrity. And the freedom comes from the fact that you don't have to ever think about a decision again after you make it. You just stick to it with 100% compliance because you have integrity with your word, and it makes it easy. It's not exhausting at all. So what I teach people to do in my Make This Your Year program for life-changing weight loss is develop their self-discipline to the point that it becomes part of their identity, and then it becomes automatic and effortless. And the first step to doing this is to decide in advance how you want to act, what you want to do and not do to push you toward your goals. And then realize that in the moment, your lizard brain is going to pop up and try to talk you out of it. It's going to try to talk you into making the decision for the present you, not the future you, the decision that results in comfort and immediate gratification, usually at the price of your goals in the long term. So you just get in the habit of ignoring that voice and sticking to your guns and never make a decision on the fly, because then you're likely to listen to your lizard brain. But instead, you make all of your decisions in advance with consideration for the future you and the long-term consequences of your decisions. And if you really want to take it to the next level, you can decide in advance under what conditions will you make an exception to your rules. Because you never want to make exceptions to the rules on the fly. They will just be excuses. And sometimes in the moment, these excuses can sound really convincing. They seem like legitimate reasons when they really aren't. And it's because you aren't thinking clearly. Like if you're supposed to go to the gym, but your son has to go to the hospital, that is a legitimate reason. If you're supposed to go to the gym, but your favorite show is on TV, that is not. Or you had a bad sleep last night and now you're tired, or you get a phone call with bad news and you want to stay home and feel sorry for yourself. Like these are just excuses. It's hard to know in the moment the difference. So what you can do is make a plan with your boundaries and your parameters so that you're prepared for anything. And the other thing I teach people is Your lizard brain is going to be strong in the moment, and it's going to sound reasonable. It's going to be convincing. One of the common rationalizations it's going to pull on you is, just this one time, it's not going to matter. This one cookie's not going to make or break your whole plan. It's no big deal. It's insignificant. That's a sneaky one. And we can make the mistake of thinking that it's legitimate in the moment. But if you've read Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the genius things that he says is every action you take is a vote toward the type of person you are and want to become, like your identity. So if you have a dry January rule and you have a glass of wine because you say, just this one glass of wine won't hurt, you're putting a tick in the column of someone with no integrity and no self-discipline, who makes decisions on the fly with no regard for the plan that you've already set out, and makes decisions based on immediate gratification with no regard for the long-term consequence. Do you see the detrimental effect that can have? It sounds like a small decision, but look at the effect. So every small decision you make each day can have a compound effect and ultimately become your identity. If you want some help reinventing yourself, that's literally our bread and butter. That's what we do in the Make This Your Year program for life-changing weight loss. It's personalized, custom help for you. And we have amazing student results, from going where they felt like they were destined to be overweight forever to them coming out the other side like a whole new woman, wearing sizes they haven't worn in decades, and just in total control for the first time ever. You won't even recognize yourself by the end of the program. If you want to stay in victim mode and keep telling yourself you just don't have self-discipline, then I can't help you. But if you're ready to try something new and you're up for a challenge, head over to erinadri.com, book your free weight loss call with me, and we'll discuss further. And it's a free call to see if I can help and to answer any questions you have and just see if it's a good fit for you. I do have limited slots for these free calls. So if you're watching this, go grab one now, because they tend to fill up. And there's no better time than literally right now to reinvent yourself and create that 2.0 version of yourself. If you love this video, give me a big thumbs up, and better yet, subscribe to this channel. That way you'll be informed when I release a new video. That's all I got for today. See you in the next video. You got this.